But the first thing you notice about Billie Eilish is that she's very unhappy. She works in the music business. Maybe it's not surprising. But whatever she's got going on in her personal life, you don't want to be part of it. And who knows what it's really about? She probably doesn't know. Most of us don't really understand what ails us. But for the purposes of last night's event, it doesn't matter. Like almost everybody in the Democratic Party, Billie Eilish has decided that Donald Trump is her core problem.
You don't need me to tell you things are a mess. Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about. We need leaders who will solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them. Leaders who will fight against systemic racism and inequality. It starts with voting against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden. We all have to vote like our lives and the world depend on it, because they do.
Donald Trump is destroying everything we care about, period. And that right there is the message of the DNC this week. The message is not Joe Biden can identify his own wife by sight and is therefore fit to lead the country.
Where's the part that made you laugh?
It's not Kamala Harris is actually a very sincere person who's really thought through the issues that matter. No. It's not even vote for us and our program will make the country better. No, it's not. In fact, it's simpler than that and therefore maybe more compelling. It's you're unhappy, so are we. It's all Donald Trump's fault. Let's kick him out. And honestly, you can kind of see the appeal.
So what did he say?
Real life, by contrast, is complicated. It's never that obvious why
It's like, this isn't someone I'd want babysitting my kids.
He said that?
Yeah. That's in one of the videos I watched.
I mean, okay, so let's talk. Okay, you know what? Politics aside here, let's talk about, let's analyze what we just watched here, okay?
Yeah.
And specifically in how Tucker Carlson conducts himself, okay?
Okay.
Because he's the #1 most watched cable news, like, opinion personality.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's safe to say he's doing something right from a creation standpoint.
Yeah. Or he's appealing to the right audience.
Appealing to the right audience, yeah. I mean, his audience, he has found out that there's enough people with enough appetite for, but it's like a plurality of the people who watch cable news. That's why he has the largest audience. And I mean, I feel like some of the people who watch him, it doesn't even necessarily even have to do with policy. They just like, so like, obviously Tucker is very much an elitist as well. And maybe people haven't like savvied up to the fact that he's an elite trashing on elites, but he's also trashing on a different kind of elite. And I honestly don't even think his audience really care if he's an elite. They just care about, so like his delivery, for instance. He puts a decent amount of fallacy into it, but it almost seems organic. Like even though he's clearly reading off teleprompter and this is written, it almost seems like these are takes that come from a real person, and it's not some overly processed, like thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so
yeah. Sorry. I just want.
You can go on.
I think he does a good job. Like he's the king of facial expressions, I think.
Oh, yeah, he has
that. I think that's part of what makes his delivery so, I don't know, personal, I guess.
Yeah.
To some of his viewers. Yeah, continue.
Well, I was just going to say, like, with Billie Eilish, he was, I don't know, what was he saying when he, like, opened up that segment? Because he said a lot about her, like, really quick. Oh, yeah, so there's
her mood.
Yeah, and he was talking about, it's interesting because he does these, it's almost like he gives these attacks that are really subtle and then puts a bunch of qualifiers on them to make it, like, people think he's being more fair than maybe he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like how he talks about now, he's like, that's fair, a lot of us don't know what's, like, plaguing us and stuff like that. But then he's very careful with where he adds the real criticism, because even though that seems like criticism, that's pretty irrelevant to his point. His real criticism has to do with the fact that he thinks a lot of people are hyper-focusing on Donald Trump as the problem rather than trying to solve real community issues. And how I imagine if we would continue to watch the clip, it probably builds into the larger point of how the DNC is attempting to capitalize off that.
Oh, yeah. You talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't necessarily agree with this point that the entire DNC was about that only thing. But,
well, yeah, the DNC is a large portion of people, but it's
or the convention, I'm saying.
Yeah, but like, there's a lot of people involved in that convention, but I don't know, it's whether or not you think that's a large portion of their points.
Yeah.
And I think there's a strong argument to say that he's right in that respect. And
Yeah.
obviously I don't agree with Tucker on plenty of things, but, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of conservatives go after the easy things to attack the DNC on because it works, and that's part of the reason why he runs so many segments like that. You can call it distraction from Trump, which it most definitely probably is meant to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also not going to run a distraction that's not their best avenue of attack against the opposition as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. And
Did you know CNN played more of the Republican convention minutes-wise than Fox News did?
It might be because they were thinking that the content would turn people more against the RNC, possibly.
Both sides, do you think?
I mean, more so like CNN, because if they're playing more time of it.
Well, like, what do you think the reason is for Fox News? Just
depends what else they were covering. It could very well be both sides sort of thing. Like, thought the coverage wasn't good, so Fox showed less of the RNC, and CNN showed more. But I mean, you can make the same argument for, like, why CNN didn't show the DNC as long, like, as they showed the RNC. Like, maybe how much of the DNC did Fox show?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look up that. I just saw the minutes.
I mean, a lot of conservatives I saw were pointing out that the content during the day of the DNC is way more like, I guess you could say, like more left-wing policies than like establishment policies, and then on like the primetime hour, so to speak, it was more of that establishment stuff.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of people on the Daily Wire crew, for instance, was trying to cover a lot of the like early DNC stuff that wasn't during primetime because they thought it made the Democrats look worse than what they showed during primetime.